Nearly 2 years ago, the Indian Army conducted surgical strikes on terror launch pads in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Now, while the country knew about the government's punitive action against Pakistan-based terror groups, this was the first time there is video proof of how this assault was mounted. 4 videos, 4 targets. We're breaking it down for you.
September 29, 2016, 6:15 a.m. A terror launch pad was struck. The bunker situated well into Pakistani territory was target number 1. Videos captured by unmanned aerial vehicles and thermal imaging cameras show the bunker completely destroyed. Another target hit, target number 2, destroyed in a precision strike by Indian Army's Special Forces at 6:13 a.m. before target number 1. Cameras mounted on the helmets of the soldiers captured the burning bunker in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Target number 3. Footage shows smoke billowing out of a bunker. Another launch pad shredded to pieces as an Indian Army mortar hits right on target. Footage from before the strike shows a group of men standing by the terror launch pad, some of whom appear to be Pakistan Army soldiers. Target number 4. Footage captured by India's forces shows movement of 5 terrorists. That was at 4:32 a.m. 4:38 a.m. Targets eliminated, multiple shots fired to take them out. Target number 4 was the first operation that was carried out. As many as 38 terrorists were killed in the operation, and 636 days later, the proof is out. This 8-minute-long video silencing all those who questioned if the strike ever took place at all. Bureau Report, WION.
In India, this operation has been turned into political football. Instead of getting caught in the petty politics of it, let's understand this operation. And tonight we have international experts who have no political stakes in this story and can weigh in on its significance. We are joined by Avital Leibovich. She's a former IDF spokesperson, also the current chief of AJC, with us from Jerusalem, and Glenn Carl, former American intelligence officer, with us from Boston. Good evening to both of you. Avital, let me begin with you. Lieutenant Colonel Avital, for the viewers. You've served in the Israeli Defense Forces. You've participated in sensitive operations. Tell us what it takes to enter enemy territory and neutralize the target with 0 collateral damage.
Well, that's quite a challenging, I would say. I think it takes very good intelligence and very precise munition, because the last thing you want to create is some kind of heavy collateral damage where many uninvolved civilians are actually targeted as well. We do have a huge challenge with this issue because some of the areas, for example, in Gaza, are densely populated. So I think Israel developed a series of munitions which are very, very accurate to this extent. However, this is not scientific, and things could go wrong, as they have in the past. And this is why in Israel, this is not a very popular tool, at least for the last couple of years.
Glenn, these operations are extremely sensitive and dangerous and not always successful and fraught with challenges, as Avital also pointed out. How do you see one in which up to 40 terrorists were killed inside enemy territory and there was no casualty on the Indian side?
Well, it's a dramatic success. It's a significant success and sent, in the diplomatic expression, a clear message to the Pakistanis. The Pakistanis, as Indians know better than almost anybody, engage in the policy of the weak, which is to support terrorism to disrupt and create trouble for their opponent, which is India over Kashmir, and in Afghanistan also. The options are to do nothing or to send a message, and India sent a clear message. Now here, as I mentioned earlier, the Pakistanis are caught with their pants down, figuratively, because they've lied about what has been going on, and here now they have the proof.
Avital, what does it do then to the morale of a soldier when you've conducted an operation like this, come back home successfully, and the people you are technically fighting for question your achievement and demand proof?
Well, the targets that were chosen in Israel are actually something Israel is calling or referring to as ticking bombs. In other words, if they would not be targeted, then those ticking bombs will target Israeli population, kindergartens, schools, civilian areas, and so on. This is why when soldiers and officers actually achieve this target, I think they should feel very proud, and this is usually a very patriotic feeling. At the end of the day, it's defending. It's really about defense of the people, defense of the country, and this is the essential pillar of being actually a soldier.
Is it normal then, Avital, for this kind of political questioning in countries like Israel, and is it normal for armies to release the video of such an operation within 2 years of it being conducted?
So it's really two questions. In Israel is a liberal democracy, and here too there were some organizations, NGOs, who appealed to the High Court of Justice, blaming this notion of targeted killing and in the name of protecting human rights and so on. And actually the High Court of Justice did rule on this topic and said very clearly in 2006 that since it's a ticking bomb, if it's a preventive measure, then by all means this is within accordance of the international law. As for publishing the evidence, I think it's critical, especially in today's world. The last thing you need is some kind of misinformation online that will cause rumors and create some misinformation that would then trickle down to the population and maybe have a negative impact. I think that, clips from drones and other aerial aircrafts, it's very easy to believe that this is accurate. It's not something you can forge. You can't bring a director from outside and direct this. I think the sooner this information is being transmitted out to the population, the better.
Glenn, your thoughts on whether or not this kind of evidence should be released, and the timing of this video is also significant. It is a reminder of what Pakistan harbors at a time when Pakistan is trying to mainstream terrorism by bringing Hafiz Saeed into the political fray. How do you think global powers view it?
Well, I agree with our colleague in Israel that it's essential to publicize the facts because, in particular, in recent years, truth is come under attack as well as democracies. So I think it's an important thing to do. It is politically explosive, to choose a word, in Pakistan, but then the Pakistanis have to deal with the issues of their decades-long state support for terrorism. There are only two states that come to mind that are recognized as active state supporters of terrorism, and that's Iran and Pakistan. I think Pakistan, frankly, is a dramatically larger user of that kind of policy. So in this instance, it's good to confront them with their statecraft, which consists of support for terrorists.
Right, I'm going to leave it at that. Avital Leibovich, Glenn Carl, thanks very much. Avital, you want to make a point?
I just want to make a point that there is another angle to publishing, and this is deterrence. In other words, if other terrorists are seeing what happened to their colleague, maybe they will think another time before committing the terror act. So it's also deterrence.
Fair point and well taken. Thanks very much, Avital Leibovich and Glenn Carl, for joining us and sharing your thoughts on this. Those were the hits. We'll also bring you the misses, but for the moment, let's dwell on the surgical strikes on Pakistan that took place in September 2016. That was nearly 2 years ago. So why is this crucial video evidence being released now? Many of you have asked this question online, so let's first address that. For one, Pakistan is in election mode. It is attempting to mainstream terror. Islamabad has allowed a globally designated terrorist like Hafiz Saeed to not only form a political outfit, but even get 265 terrorists to contest elections. Their applications have been accepted. The chief of Jamaat-ud-Dawa not only finds safe haven in Pakistan, he is set to be part of the electoral process and eventually part of the government. He has fielded 265 candidates from a dormant political party after his outfit was denied recognition by the Election Commission of Pakistan. It is incidentally also a time when Pakistan is under immense scrutiny from the world over their inaction to rein in terror groups which continue to flourish on Pakistani soil. Islamabad continues to be on the grey list of the Financial Action Task Force for financially aiding terror. In other words, a terror state. The world has recognized that. The global body claimed that Pakistan has failed to act against terrorist financing and money laundering on its soil. It is on the grey list of the FATF, the Financial Action Task Force. India is maintaining pressure on its neighbor, which has been aiding and abetting terrorists, unleashing terror on Indian soil. By releasing this footage now, this video now, India is ensuring that Pakistan's transgressions remain in the public eye. The world should not forget what Pakistan is capable of. The United States ambassador to the United Nations is visiting India. Nikki Haley is in Delhi. She's on a 3-day tour to India to strengthen ties between the two countries. The 46-year-old diplomat is the highest-ranked Indian American in Trump's administration. She met with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday and discussed ways to enhance cooperation between the two countries on counter-terrorism. Releasing proof of the surgical strikes at a time like this helps India get the United States on board to isolate Pakistan. The idea is to keep reminding the world what Pakistan harbors. Russian President Vladimir Putin took the ceremonial first kick at an exhibition football match on a pitch in Red Square. Russian youth players were joined by former star footballers from Brazil, Germany and Spain. The football park is a festival traveling around the Russian cities hosting the summer's FIFA World Cup, opened in Moscow on the 21st of June. Take a look at what President Putin did.
Удар поворотом и замечательный прыжок голкипера.
There's no explaining what fans do and why. Many of them travel long distances halfway across the world to watch their teams play. Many are arriving in Russia to watch their favorite players. Let's take a look at how Russia is welcoming them.
Fans have flooded Russia for the FIFA World Cup. Football enthusiasts have come here from across the world. It is a big boost to Russian tourism, and the country is leaving no stone unturned to cash in on the World Cup fever. Travel has been made easy and the cuisine different and tastier. Moscow's metro is now being described as the world's best. It has transformed itself for the World Cup and introduced a helpful phone app for commuters.
I've been to Moscow before and I found the signs pretty challenging, but quite a lot of the stuff that's coming just for the World Cup's been quite useful. So things on the floor, for example. Also the fact there's a lot more people who don't know where they're going as well, that helps. So you don't feel as bad if you don't know where you're going.
About 200 English-speaking volunteers have also been deployed at the busiest stations to help foreign tourists find their way.
It's a bit hard with the language. There are not many signs in English, but I use the cell phone app, which helps a lot and practically gets you everywhere. I think it's the best metro I've ever been to. I've been to metros in New York, in Madrid, in Buenos Aires, but I think this is the most complete one.
Not just this, trains are also showing live World Cup matches.
1,600 train carriages in the Moscow metro have been equipped with screens. Usually we would show directions and advice on getting in and out of the metros, latest information on stations' operations hours, etc. But now we use them to show live football matches.
The tourists are leaving their mark too. Russians were seen doing a tango on the streets of Nizhny Novgorod ahead of the match between Argentina and Croatia.
Masterclass, super. The whole event creates a festivity mood here. It's very nice to dance in the city. We are big lovers of Argentinian dance. For us, the culture of Argentina is very interesting. And the opportunity to dance to live music for us is an additional bonus in life.
Bonus в нашей жизни.
Have you seen how do you dance tango, a man and a woman? That's passion. And we are passionate people as you. So that is why we are so friendly and close Argentinians and Russian, because we have the same passion. If you don't have passion, you cannot dance tango. It's pure passion. Fantastic.
But there is no fun without good food. The best Russian chefs from 11 World Cup host cities have been gathering in the cities to present regional food specialities to the fans.
Well, the Argentinians all say very good, very good. They're waiting in queue for 1.5 hours until my risotto is cooked. They try it and they say very, very good. I'm preparing more food to feed them tonight after the game as well.
11 mobile kitchen trucks move from one Russian host city to another, showcasing the often underestimated Russian food. Fans do not even know the names of the meals, but they surround the kitchens waiting for more servings.
That is the best food I've ever eaten. Really. I don't know, but it's really wonderful. The great food, really.
Bureau Report, WION.
Now, grabbing a pint in London is a bit trickier these days as a carbon dioxide shortage has forced major UK wholesalers to limit the amount of beer sale to customers. Beverage rationing is the new norm in London and customers are limited to buying 10 cases of beer per day and just 5 cases of cider or soft drinks. Carbon dioxide is used to carbonate beer and is part of the bottling process. WION's London Bureau Chief Mandy Clark has the story.
British pubs are facing a crisis. No beer. The country is running out of CO2 that keeps their pints bubbly, and the crisis comes at the worst possible time for brewers and distributors. Beyond the hot summer months, a boom time for beer makers, the shortage occurs as the World Cup reaches its climax, when bars and pubs are likely to be packed.
I think it's concerning. Obviously, we've phoned our suppliers and they've assured us that we're going to be okay, but then I'm reading different articles in the newspaper. I'm not really too sure of the ins and outs of it. A good customer of ours yesterday was in a golf club down in the country, and they actually had to stop serving beer because they'd run out of their last CO2. So he phoned the pub actually and asked me, is this going to affect us? And I said, at the moment, no.
CO2 gas has been in short supply since producers cut back on production over the summer for maintenance work. Other suppliers suffered equipment failure at the same time, leaving just one plant in Britain in operation. The gas is difficult and expensive to import, hence pubs depend on local suppliers.
But it's not just pints, it's pork too. Scotland's biggest pork producer says it's going to run out of the gas by the end of the week. They use it to stun animals before slaughter and also add it to packaging to extend shelf life. Even the drinks giant Coca-Cola had to halt production on its fizzy drink earlier this week because of the shortage.
But for pub goers, it's all about the beer. Of course, they could always reach for a glass of wine, but for them, making a switch is not that easy.
Wine is okay if you're having a meal, but if you're out for the afternoon watching football, 90% of the generation will be drinking beer.
More than happy to drink wine at any time. I only drink beer if I'm in the pub, but if they run out of beer, I'll be here drinking wine.
No, I couldn't imagine not drinking beer every day of the week.
Experts however say that there is no need to panic. They say the CO2 supply should be back on track in a few weeks. Londoners would be hoping exactly for the same, so that the fizz in their favourite beer remains intact. With Mandy Clark in London, Poonam Burde for WION.